Chapter 10 verse 6 reads, Then the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord, and served Baals and the Ashtoreths, the gods of Syria, the gods of Sidon, the gods of Moab, the gods of the people of Ammon, the gods of the Philistines, and they forsook the Lord and did not serve him. They serve everything but. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chika Dioshun and you're watching Simpler with Chika. I'm currently doing the Bible reading challenge. I'm reading all through the Bible this year. That is my plan for myself. As I complete reading a chapter, I will try to do a video review. Opens up and Joshua dies, and that's sad. What's left is another generation that seem to not know God, and in this time there were no kings in Israel, so God raised judges. So the judges' job was to judge the people. Deborah, whichever one you want to call it, she was a judge, and one of my middle names is Deborah, if you didn't know that, which used to be my first name when I first moved here. Child, it's a middle name. And yeah, Gideon was in this time when, the children didn't really know God. They worship God sometimes as well as Baal. So Gideon went and burnt down the structure of Baal that they had, and he said, and obviously the people were angry, and he said, well, if Baal is God, then you don't need to fight for him. Let Baal come and fight for himself. Obviously Baal could not fight for himself, and this was another opportunity where God was proven to be the true God. Gideon had to go and fight, and he had, he was like, who's gonna fight with me? And all these men came out. They were already outnumbered by their opponent, right? God knew this. God even wanted to make his men even far more outnumbered than they were. God was now like, anyone that drinks the water kneeling down and lapping it needs to get out. Anyone that feels a little bit of fear needs to get out. Reduced the army to literally 300 people to go and fight thousands in their opponent. And I noticed this theme, because how else is it that God is gonna get the glory? Like, God, this is a God thing. If you had the same number of men as the opponent. Sometimes, and then this makes me feel like sometimes when you don't have much, that is a golden. When you are disadvantaged, when you don't have much, when it looks not good, that I feel like that's why you need to read these chapters and talk to God and be like, this is a perfect opportunity for you to step in, because as it is now, I think God really loves situations like that, because you can't say, oh, it was my strength, or it was this person or that person. It was God. Gideon with 300 men against these thousands of Midianites, and he still destroyed them. The people of Israel were like, well, why don't you become our king? And I love Gideon's response. He was like, God will rule over you. I started realizing something. That's his people, as in, like, when we call God like our king, God is actually, he was very much in that position of king at a time. He was the ruler of Israel until they wanted a king, which happens little later on. Soon as Gideon dies, what did the people do? They go back to worshiping Baal and other gods, like they always do. However, one of the children of Gideon did want to be king. He wasn't even like, he was his mother was a concubine or something of the sort, and he killed all his 70 brothers so that he could be named king. He had a terrible downfall. A woman dropped a stone from a tower and it crushed him. Chapter 10 verse 6 reads, Then the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord, and served Baals and the Ashtoreths, the gods of Syria, the gods of Sidon, the gods of Moab, the gods of the people of Ammon, the gods of the Philistines, and they forsook the Lord and did not serve him. They serve everything but. So God now vexed. God sold them to slavery for 18 years. They were tortured. And God couldn't bear with how much his people were suffering and when they called out to him, so he saved them. There was a story of Jester. Oh, this one really touched my heart. And I think it's a bit strange because from what I know, God was never ever interested in human sacrifice, ever, from what I've read thus far. And he had spoken down on these other evil gods that required people to sacrifice human beings. So Jester, pleaded with God. He said to God, God, I'm going to go and fight the enemy to deliver our people. And then he was like, if you will give me the grace to win the strength to beat these people, when I return, imagine, why would you say this? And then he said, when I return home, whoever first runs out of my home to greet me as I return, I will give them, like, how can you even, is that not crazy? So anyways, his own daughter, who was his only child at the time, when he got home, obviously he was victorious, got home, the daughter ran out, and he was, sad, but he burnt up his daughter and gave her up as a sacrifice to the Lord. And I was like, reading this at 5 a.m. in the morning, I was like, because the only other time it happened was with Father Abraham. But then, lo and behold, a ram was there. But this one actually burnt the daughter. God is like all powerful. If you enter an oath with God, it is you have entered it. So the lesson out of this is don't open your mouth and make any promise to God like anyhow. Even when you are desperate, you can be desperate and you can say crazy things. In chapter 13, it talks about a man, Mania, and his old wife, not being able to conceive. This is the parents of Samson. And Samson was going to be a Nazarene or something like that to God, meaning that he won't cut his hair, his whole life will be lived for God. Samson fell in love with a woman that's not from their area. I've forgotten the tribe. I made these notes a while ago. They're not very good notes, I'm sorry. But it wasn't an Israeli woman. The parents were against it, and then anyways, but he was like, no, this is the one I desire. So when he now did all he needed to do to marry the girl, they now gave the girl to his best man at the wedding. This also happened again to David. David had his wife. After paying Dario, the wife now got given to somebody else. So it was really sad. So Samson now took killed 300 men with a jawbone. I think everyone knows that story. You know that Samson and Delilah story? I never know who to blame. This woman was an enemy. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. He would lie to her like, okay, the secret to my strength is this and this and that. He would wake up, tie me this and tie me with a strong rope. I will never be able to get up. And then she would do it. And then, there'll be people waiting for him and an ambush waiting for him. And he'll destroy them. It happened 1 too many times. Mr. Samson did not know. Maybe Samson was also trying to see, well, if my hair comes off, will I still have small of my own humanly strength to be able to do something? Maybe. Because I don't know who you actually accurately blame. Yes, you can blame Delilah. She was evil. She wanted to give him to her people. Samson was becoming a terror. With everything he told her, he lied to her. This is my strength. She tried each thing, and every time there was an ambush waiting for him. So why then would he go on and tell her the truth? Do people used to fall in love like that? Who falls in love like that? Like, maybe he lies to her and she believes it, and nothing happens. She doesn't try to implement it, or at least even if she tries to implement it, there's no ambush waiting outside. You know what I mean? There's no people trying to kill him waiting outside. Maybe then, if I was Samson, I'd be like, okay, cool, I can actually tell her the truth because she's not trying to kill me. But she had shown him 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times that she's trying to kill him. And he still told her his secrets. I mean, is this love, or what do you call that? I don't understand. The epic death, when his hair was started growing small, he said, give me this last strength. And you know, it's cool what is noted in the Bible that Samson killed more Philistines as he was dying than he did while he was alive. But he killed plenty of them while he was alive. While he was dying, he killed more of them as well, as they came to, you know, torture him and watch him being tortured. You know the story of Sodom and Gomorrah? Gomorrah? I don't even know. Anyway, so there's this time as well, in Judges, it was literally disgusting stuff where, you know, when a foreigner would stop by to spend the night, you know, to carry on his journey the next day, they would try to rape them. Similar thing happened in Sodom and Gomorrah. But this man, the story was really somehow, like, his wife ran away from him. He went to get the wife. On his way back with his wife, on their journey back, they stayed somewhere. They stayed in this Gibeah. In the Gibeah, he got housed by an old man, and then they said there's a foreigner in this house, bring him out. And then the good man offers his child, his own daughter, to be raped. They say no. So they were just making a ruckus. So the man now sends his wife to be raped. After she was raped, the wife that he went to find, though, after she was raped and she now fainted or died, or he killed her even, I think that's how it went down. He now cuts her limbs everywhere and send her parts of her body to the 12 tribes of Israel to make a statement like, look at what's happened to him. So, you know, the people of Israel, they banded together like, this is terrible, we have to fight the tribe of Benjamin. And the tribe of Benjamin wouldn't bring out the people responsible, like the hoodlums. And it was interesting to me that God allowed this. Like, when they went to fight the tribe of Benjamin, again and again and again, I think 3 times, the tribe of Benjamin were like killing way more of the Israeli army. So finally, God decides to step in and says, okay, go now, you guys will win. But, you know, it was just like, I don't know what the point was of allowing them to be defeated. Even though Benjamin wasn't wrong. Were they just like beta fighters? They probably were, I guess, if they were able to destroy so many of the others. But God himself would have been appalled with what had happened. Why did God allow them, the Israeli people, trying to defend justice, defend righteousness? Why did he allow them to be defeated before granting them victory? What was the point of that? Was it like to see if they would give up in their defense of what is right? God is an enigma sometimes, but in getting to know what I do know of God, that might be why. If you know that you know that you know, and like according to the word of God, you know, according to all that is right, that what you're doing is right, what you're chasing is good, then never give up. Anyways, that concludes my notes for the book of Judges. It was a good read. A lot of eventful, exciting stuff happened in it, and I absolutely recommend. 10 out of 10 recommend. Go and check it out. See you guys in my next video. I hope that you have a blessed week, blessed day, blessed night. Bye.